Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm participating in another challenge. This challenge is called the Recycled Wood Useful DIY Challenge. I had to write it down because I always get tongue-tied on these. This challenge is hosted by MomDas Life Handmade, and she also has a co-host, Tammy Roberts. I will link their information below as well as the playlist. Please go and check out their channel after you've watched my video. So it was kind of ironic. I was just thinking in my head, I would love to make a sign for my porch. My porch is kind of boring and I wanted it to be specifically for fall, but then I thought, I could flip it around and do something either generic on the other side that would be good all year round, or I could do another holiday on the other side. So today I'm going to show you that process for this challenge. First, I am going to let you know that the wood that I am using is from an old pallet. I think this was a really nice pallet because the board that my husband got out of it is magnificent. He just cut it down to the size that would take away the knots out of the wood so I don't have to deal with them, and make it in a size, I was kind of vague with my size, but he made it in a size that would be perfect for my sign. Look how nice it is. So my husband was kind enough to sand it down with his I wrote that down too. Let me see. I'm not a tool person. He does all that for me. He sanded it down with his random orbit sander, and he used 120 grit sandpaper all over. For those of you who like to use tools, there you go. So I went on Pinterest, I did my homework, and I decided that on the first side, I'm gonna have it say, "Hello, Fall." And I will show you this little pattern that I kept from the little pumpkin that I did that's right by my fireplace. So, little tip when you're doing crafts, if you are going to use patterns over again, just slap them all into a folder with some sheet protectors, and each sheet protector can be a separate project. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do here is I have some black matte craft paint. The one that I've chosen is just apple barrel black, and I'm just going to give this a quick coat. I'm not going to film the whole thing. You guys know how to paint, but just to show you what the paint looks like on the board. I do have my first side coated in the black paint, and I just wanted to give you a little tip here. I have 4 random cans that are all the same size, and I'm going to place these on the table underneath my board. And then I'm just going to set my board up on top of the cans, and that way I will be able to paint the edges and it won't stick to the table, and it'll be able to dry. When your board is completely dry, you'll be able to tell because there won't be any pooling or wet spots. You want to go ahead and put your white paint on next. I am going to be using a Craft Essentials for that. Really the only thing you need to be sure of is that it's not a gloss, unless you like that look. I'm trying to make it look more rustic. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like as I start to put the white paint on. I'm going to use kind of a sparse coverage, and maybe leave some black spots to make it look more rustic. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. I have the white coat finished, and if you can see, I have a little bit of black showing through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do the sides. Just take a little bit of paint and I just dab along the edge. I'll hold it up so you can see. And this is just a sponge brush, and I just kind of dab it and leave some of the black showing through. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and then I will show you the finished look, and then I'll get ready to put my words on the first side. So just wanted to show you the edges, how they turned out. So I'm going to start doing my lettering for the front. I have these stencils. They're 6-inch, and I'm going to start at the bottom so that I can get my spacing right. And I'm going to put in stencils, I'm going to put fall. I'm going to take a ruler and measure from the edges of the letters so that I can center it. I'm just going to trace this out with my pencil. Okay. Another thing, I'm going to take these cans out so I have a level surface now that I don't need them anymore. Okay, now I'm going to put the hello at the top, and I have this tracing paper. It's called Artist Graphite Paper. I do not have a stencil for this, so I'm going to tilt it a little bit at the top here. I'm going to tape that down where I like it, and then you want to make sure you put the carbon side down. And just stick that underneath there, and then I'm going to trace this out with a pencil. And I'm going to check and make sure, yes, it's coming through fine. If you wanted to, you could outline it in Sharpie. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and it makes it easier to stay in the lines. And I want this a little bit bolder, so I'm going to go outside of the lines a little bit. I want to make it a little bit beefier. Now these Sharpies dry out quickly when you're working on the paint, so I have a couple of them available here, and I'll just keep switching back and forth. I will mention too, if you're doing this trick with the tracing paper, it's best if you have a light background, otherwise it's really hard to pick up your pencil lines. Okay, I've got the hello on there, and now I'm going to work on the orange letters. And the orange paint that I'm using is Apple Barrel Pumpkin Orange. I love this orange, it's so cute. Here's what I have so far. And that's after one coat with the orange paint on the letters. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go back over it with another coat of paint. I have my glue gun fired up here, and I've pre-cut some twine, and I just measured it so that it would go from the edge of one side to the edge of the other. I have an old chopstick that I use for when I'm gluing. Put a bead of glue across the front, and then I'll put the twine right in that glue so that way I don't get my fingers burnt, and then I can glue the edges down all at once. Normally, if it was a one-sided, I would just wrap the twine around the whole board, and then I could tie it off, but I don't want it to interfere with what I'm going to do on the other side because I won't want twine there in the same place. I put some twine across, kind of like that, so it looked more natural, like it was wrapped around. Now, oh, also I just tied a little piece on there to make it look like I knotted it, and now I'm going to just put some glue on the edge to hold all these down, and then I'm going to use my little what do you call this thing? I just said it a little while ago, the chopstick. I think that's what it is, and I'm just going to smooth those off, and then I can just trim off the edge when it's dry. So I'm going to do that on both sides. Now I just want to trim off the twine on the edges here. So I'm just taking regular scissors and trimming that off. Now what I'm going to do on the other side is just do a welcome sign so that when I'm not using this for fall, I can use it for the rest of the year as a welcome sign. Look at my table. When I craft, I am a hot mess. Tell you what. Wow. But on this side, I'm going to do a little bit different treatment. I'm still going to do the black with the white over it, but I'm not going to let the black dry completely. I'm going to leave it a little bit wet and then put my white over it, and it'll be like a gray. I have my black coat all finished for the second side, and I am not letting it dry, and I'm going to go ahead and put on the white so you can see the difference here. See how it's turning gray? So that's going to give me a little bit different look. I just finished putting the white on top of the black, and this is the effect I got. Isn't that gorgeous? Doesn't it look like old weathered wood? And you have a little bit of play with this, with the paint being wet, the black being wet. So if you want to touch it up, if you don't quite like the look, like for instance here, there's a little bit of black there. If I wanted it more white, I can just play with it. Now I have to be patient and let it dry. Gotta go wash my hands. They're a little bit messy. My paint's dry and I have my letters all laid out to say welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and trace these out, and I might show you a little bit of the painting, and then I'll show you the finished product. Here's what it looks like with all my letters laid out with the marker. So I'm just gonna start painting. Got my black paint and this cool little brush here. This one is the 101 round. I don't know if that's universal, but it's just a soft bristled, and it's kind of a blunt tip. This is a pretty big letter, so with the markers outlining it, I should be able to make quick work of this. So I'll check back when it's done. So I went ahead and propped my sign up here. I'm all done. And this is the first side that says Hello Fall. Give you a little close-up shot here. I did fill in my letters from the stencils. So like the A, I went ahead and painted it straight across, and the F, same thing. I wanted that filled in look. The L's were the same, stencil or not. So let me flip it around and you can see the other side. This will be your first view of the whole side finished. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I want to show you too the difference between the two colors. This is the gray and this is the white. So don't let your black undercoat dry as long if you want the gray. And you can really play with that and tweak it however you want. Thanks to MomDas Life Handmade and Tammy Roberts for co-hosting. I had so much fun participating in this challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed watching all the videos. And if you haven't watched the other videos, make sure to check out the playlist and also go to the co-host channels and show them some love. I'm really happy with my sign, and I'm so excited to put it out on my porch. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I'll link that below. And I would like to highlight my organization series. If anybody hasn't watched that and you like to organize, go over to my channel and check it out. If you're coming over to my channel from somebody else's channel that participated in the challenge or the co-host, please look around and see if I'm a good fit for you. And if I am, please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to push the bell so you'll get all notifications of my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I had so much participating. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did watching as I did doing the craft for you. I hope you guys had fun.